Morning, guys. Michelle here. Gone another morning. Off to a very late start. Couldn't rouse myself this morning, but I finally did. Now, one of the ways I'm not even sure what to talk. There's so many things I need to start on. I'm telling the truth. I don't even know what to start with. But there's an issue I'm having with. It's not a new issue. The fencing, I've spoken about the fencing already. I think at this point I have covered all I can cover. There is a dilemma I have with how I close this place up. Now, this is one of those videos where well, all of my videos suggestions are welcomed, just as much as comments, suggestions in the comments, whatever. I've gotten quite a few suggestions that have been very, very, very instrumental in me solving certain small issues. As I said, to some persons these are not issues. I know some persons can just hire a carpenter or whoever to solve these problems, but I try to solve them myself because I'm trying to avoid spending where I don't need to at this point. So right now I have closed off most of the areas, right? There'll be touch-ups as I go along, and all of this is before I get to the point where I will do the actual major work of building a fence. It's just not, it's important. It's important because I think it's the only thing that is understood, the barrier. So people will observe that barrier and try not to pass it. So that is the main reason behind me doing it. There are 3 areas here now on the fence that I'm trying to figure out how best to allow access to the property, right? Of course, there are areas that I'm realizing that because I started ages ago and I started with pieces of wood board that was already rotting, bamboo that have rotted from in the ground. So far it's just only one, well, more than one, but the others are holding. There's one at the back, but it had mesh across it, so it's not falling down. It's not causing a problem at this point. Now this mesh, I think I showed persons already. I did it in a video. They use it in construction. It was used to create the covering for my pit, right? So I used it here and I realized that it was a lot more durable, a lot more functional, definitely, to be used in this way. It's just a little bit more expensive. Initially I was told they sell them for 90 cedis. I checked it out on Saturday. It's for 80, but even if you're going to try and buy this to put along the side of border my property, I want to use it on my brother's property, but it's not high maintenance, but it's costly at this point. I'm not sure what his pocket is like, but for me though, I bought 3 his, but I'm going to be using one. This is one of my first issues, right? So I brought the bamboos to this point. So that's the gap. Cars can pass here. The truck would have a little bit more difficulty. So when I get to the point where I can afford to replenish my sand and my stone, I may have to hit this one out. It's the weaker one. Well, it's not the weaker one. I think I reinforced this actually hold. Well, that one may have to come out when I get to that point. But the length of this or width is still too short for that space, right? So I'm trying to figure out how I can get it as a makeshift gate, and I'll probably show you the end results when the time comes. And then over there, there's also a gap that I specifically wanted in where my ladder is. I wanted it there because I wanted access to my second set of plots, right? So I haven't locked it off. I was hoping initially that that space between the properties I could use as like a driveway. Persons who are visiting come that side. But coming in on that side is kind of risking my plans. And if it's visitors, it's fine, but I couldn't because I was thinking about it first in terms of having materials, dumped in that space. So I kind of abandoned that idea. The other thing is this. This is the entrance to the property and will be the permanent entrance to the property, right? That's our neighbors across from me. The land is cleared. I mentioned already the actual digging of the trench for the starting of the fencing, except when we check it out, the materials would not have been enough, so it wouldn't be starting. So I was thinking of how do I create a level ground here, but don't touch over those areas at the side. So the level part would just be here. The chat GPT thing, GPT is actually saying that I can create, they give some names that I'm not going to, but in essence it's basically what I was thinking had to happen. I had to find a strong way to border both sides of the ground that I wanted to solidify. And I was thinking first of just putting board with stuff there, but then I remember that while the concrete could be held between two boards, when pressure hits it with things driving back and forth, it's going to collapse in the sides. So the best thing to do would be to build two posts, concrete posts. It would be permanent posts on both sides of that, right? So meet here, right there, in the trench down there, and one where that post is right here. That's bamboo post right here in the trench. And then between those areas, the little cement and stone and whatever I have, that would create, you could create the, put in the concrete for the foundation and lay a couple blocks to the height of the road, and then cover it back with the sand and that was taken out. So that's the best way. So I'm going to be thinking, it's not going to take all the blocks I have, that's for sure. I have enough blocks. Not sure about how much cement. The stone, it may take all of the stone or most of it. So it's just to, I think the only thing I have to think of in terms of cost now is the cement. How many cements I need? I think I have two. One bag is busted out and it's probably hardening there now. But so 2 full bags. I'll probably need about 4 more. I don't think it's more than 4. And then the mason for the day. Don't think it's, well, may take more than a day, because I have to, even if it's just out of the ground, about a foot or so above the ground, doing the post for the time being, it has to be done that way. And I probably need a couple pieces of steel, which I already have. So that's an option which would create the foundation for my future fence, and then would solve the problem of being able to access the property easily this way. So you can dump here and drive in and dump anywhere at the frontier, taking away the possibility of any damage to any of my plants, over there because I did some more cassava and so on over that side. So I don't want any entry points over that side. And this side now, I would just lock off completely. So I want a temporary solution, putting in that makeshift gate right there. And then the idea that I just presented, I'll probably do it there when I get some more cash. All right. So why is it a concern? You will find Ghanaians. Well, there's Ghanaians. You find people that you get along with easily here. And there are some people that you will tolerate, and I'm still not bashing Ghanaians. I'm just saying that you tolerate, you don't want to offend anybody. You never ever want to offend anybody. And I feel that you can communicate your feeling in a way, or your disagreement, your feelings, your disagreements. You can communicate those things in a way that is not offensive. I always believe that. I know when I was younger, I think I struggled with, even when it came to my students in school, I struggled with reacting, you know. The first thing that came to mind, it's not necessarily a lie, it's not necessarily wrong, but people always say, and I believe, that it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And in environments that is that very community centered, you have to be careful of how you say things. We are not all tactful persons or persons eloquent enough to always find the right words, but I think the effort, and if you are clean at heart, it will come little by little. I struggled for years with showing affection to general children. I wasn't rude to them. I wasn't harsh. But I wasn't soft. I'm not necessarily a soft person. So I like disciplined children. I stay very far from children who are not disciplined. So one of the things I had to learn to do was not allow them free reign to touching me all the time, but at the same time do it in increments that they feel appreciated and feel that they are seen and so on. And it's the same thing with being here. Yes, you don't understand the language, but you have to carry yourself, interact in a way that make, especially the Ghanaians who you encounter daily, feel that they are seen and they are appreciated. Their presence is appreciated. And it has nothing to do with the good things they do or the bad things they do. All right? So I don't have a problem with giving water here. I know persons who understand how water is done here will understand that it's not free water. It's not free because you pay to get your borehole dug. You pay to put the proper equipment together so that you can get it out. And every single time you pull your tank, you pay because you have to buy the fuel, the petrol, to get it going. So because I have to keep that in mind, I'm at a point where I have to think about how do I navigate that. Allowing the freedom to ask, but letting it be known that you need to ask, right? So persons will come to the gate or come to the fence and they just walk in because there's nothing stopping them from walking through. I want persons to come, and I know persons are going to disagree. I want persons to come and stand at my gate and hail me, and I invite them in. That's what I'm used to. I cannot be okay with people just walking in, calling at the front, they don't see anybody, and then they just stroll around the back. And I keep saying it because it still happens. It still happens. I had to talk to two groups of persons over the weekend about the same thing. So to help them and help me, I want to put something at the fence so nobody just drives in and I don't know how I'd let them, get our attention, because if you are to the front, it's hard, much as if you are to the back, So it's not easy, but I have to do what I have to do to protect my peace and myself. All right. And I'm not saying that because I think people are going to come in willy-nilly and do me things, physically harm me. But anyway, let's move on from that. Yes, so I'm trying to figure out a way how to secure the fencing in a way that is semi-permanent and allows me to feel less vulnerable. Less vulnerable. The fence itself makes me feel. I keep thinking that if I had not started this fence, even with how beautiful it's beautiful to see the clearing of the properties in front of me and along the way through the line of Judah. I see it as progress. I see it as new beginnings. I see those things. But at the same time, if I had not had put up these temporary fences, I would feel exposed. And it's a mind thing. So don't get me wrong. I know it's a mind thing. It's a mind thing, but not having the fence here in this open space where you have all these trees and bushes and so on around you, it would have made me feel a lot more vulnerable. And you can imagine here cleaning, and you come out, and just as you step out, open your door and step outside, you're stepping into somebody who just feels it okay to walk through your yard. So hope I didn't ramble too much. Persons understood. When I do like a video like this now, I have to actually pause on what I started doing. So I don't know if I can get my daughter out here to watch me start, or I have to just end this video or pause it, then do what I have to do, and then show you guys the end result. Probably have to do something like that. I'm going to try and put borders. I normally get my bamboos from this friend nearby, a diasporan, very very kind enough to, every time I asked, I took. So I was taking 10, and each time I take a 10 or a 12, I keep thinking I'm not going to need any more. So based on what I thought of doing to the fence, I said I just take what was left. But she told me this morning that she gave them away to a neighbor. That's fine. I really got a lot. I was pleasantly surprised that she allowed me to take so much. But as I said, that's another thing. You get that kind of support here when you're here from persons, and I believe the Most High guides you as to who to allow to help you too. Let's face it, not everybody help for the right reasons or the right intentions, and you don't know what their intentions are. But if you're guided by the Spirit of the Most High, and sometimes you just wait on Him, He guides people to you. So I've gotten a lot of support here from both diasporans as well as Ghanaians, and I'm gonna get to my fence now. I think I've spoken enough, talk enough, right? I've talked enough since morning. I'm gonna see if I can pause this and see how fast I can. Let's not use that word. Like, rig up a gate and see how it works. All right. See you in another video, or see you later.